Do not forget to subscribe and do the bell button to receive all that is new. Do not forget to support us with the following. Do not forget to subscribe and
Peace be upon you, followers of the Youssef channel. For more information, please go to the link below the video. The body of the Pharaoh and Islam. The French scientist. One of the miracles of the noble Qur'an is that it includes secrets and scientific theories that scientists discovered in the modern era, and the Qur'an spoke about the home of the foot, and this indicates the sincerity of the Holy Qur'an. The Almighty said, "Today, we deliver you with your own body, so that those who leave behind you will be a sign, and many people will forget our signs." Interpretation of the verse in the Holy Qur'an. Today, we deliver you with your own body, so that those who leave behind you will be a sign. The commentators said, the children of Israel, when they had great hearts in their hearts, from Pharaoh, as if they did not believe in drowning him, and they doubted that, so God commanded the sea to cast him on a high escapade in his body, so that they would have a lesson and a sign. And a lot of people are ignorant of our signs, so they pass by them and repeat, so they do not benefit from them, because they do not accept them. As for those who have a present mind and heart, he sees from the Ayatollahs what is the biggest proof of the truth of what the apostles were told. Information about the world. Maurice Bouquet, discoverer of the body of Pharaoh. The French scientist Maurice Bouquet was born in the north of France in the year 1920 AD, and he joined his youth in the Faculty of Medicine, specializing in the science of surgery and anatomy, and Maurice excelled in his profession and science, as he showed interest in the civilizations of the ancient world, especially the civilization of the ancient Egyptians, and he learned the hieroglyphic language. As you learn the Arabic language, was one of the accredited doctors among a number of Arab presidents, including Sadat and King Faisal. The story of the body of Pharaoh and Islam. French Maurice Bouquet. When the late French President François Mitterrand took over the reins of power in France in 1981, France asked Egypt at the end of the 80s to host the mummy of Pharaoh to carry out archaeological tests and examinations. So the body of the most famous tyrant known to the earth was transported. Thereupon the plains lad of the curve lined up with his ministers and senior officials, the French, to receive Pharaoh, and when the royal reception ceremony for Pharaoh ended on the land of France, the mummy of the Juggernaut was carried by a procession no less favorable than its reception, and was transferred to a special wing in the French Archaeology Center, after which the largest archaeologists in France and the doctors of surgery and anatomy began studying this mummy and discovering its secrets, and he was the chief surgeon and first official about the study of this mummy as Professor Maurice Bouquet. The healers were interested in the restoration of the mummy, while Maurice was interested in trying to find out how this pharaonic king died, and late at night the final results appeared. The remains of salt stuck in his body were the greatest evidence that he drowned, and that his body was recovered from the sea immediately after drowning. Then they hurried to mummify his body to save his body, but a strange thing still baffles him, which is how this body remained safer than others, even though it was removed from the sea. Maurice Bouquet was preparing a final report on what he believed was a new discovery in the recovery of the body of Pharaoh from the sea and his embalming immediately after drowning, until someone whispered in his ear, saying, "Do not rush. Muslims are talking about the sinking of this mummy," but he strongly denounced this news and surprised him, for such a discovery can only be known with the development of modern science and through modern computer devices that are very accurate. One of them told him that their Quran they believe in tells a story about his drowning and the safety of his body after drowning, so he was stunned and began to wonder. How is this? And this mummy was only discovered in 1898, that is, almost 200 years ago, while their Quran existed more than 1,400 years ago. How can he be right in this mind? And all mankind, and not only the Arabs, knew nothing about the embalming of the bodies of the pharaohs only a few decades ago. Maurice Bouquet sat down his night staring at the body of Pharaoh, thinking carefully about what his friend whispered to him, that the Quran talks about the survival of this corpse after drowning, while their holy book talks about the sinking of Pharaoh while he was chasing our master Musa, peace be upon him, without being exposed to the fate of his body. And he started saying in the same, "Is it possible that this embalmed in front of me was the Pharaoh who was chasing Moses?" Is it possible for Muhammad to know this more than 1,000 years ago? Morris could not sleep, and asked to come to him in the Torah. So he read in the Torah saying, "So the water returned and covered the chariots and horsemen of all the army of Pharaoh who entered after them in the sea, and there was not one of them left." Morris remained bokeh confused. Even the Bible did not talk about deliverance this body and its survival after Pharaoh's body was repaired and restored. France returned the mummy to Egypt, but Morris did not congratulate him and he did not rest since he was shaken by the news that Muslims are reporting on the safety of this body, so he packed his luggage and decided to travel to Muslim countries to meet a number of Muslim anatomists, and there was the first conversation he spoke with them about what he discovered about the survival of Pharaoh's body after drowning. Then one of them rose up and opened the mushaf for him and began reading to him the Almighty saying, "Today, we deliver you with your own body so that it will be for those who leave behind you." Where he was severely impacted by the verse. He shook himself with a shake that made him stand in front of the crowd and shouted with his loudest voice, "I entered Islam and believed in this Quran." Morris Bouquet returned to France without the face in which he went. And there he stayed for 10 years that he had no job, other than studying the extent to which scientific and newly discovered facts coincide with the noble Quran, and searching for one scientific contradiction from what the Quran speaks to come out with a result of the following saying, "False does not come to him from his hands, or from behind him." A download from Hakim Hamid. It was one of the riches of these years that Frenchman Morris spent writing a book on the noble Quran that shook Western countries and shaken their scholars, hoping. The book's title was, "The Quran, the Torah, the Bible, and Science. Studying the holy books in the light of modern knowledge." So what did this book do? From his first edition he ran out of all libraries and then reprinted in hundreds of thousands after he translated from his original language into Arabic, English, Indonesian, Persian, Serbo-Croatian, Turkish, Urdu, Gujarati and German, and then spread it in all the libraries of East and West. On this book, they wrote nothing but dialectical clowning and desperate attempts dictated to them by the whispers of Satan. And the last of them, Dr. William Campbell, in his book called, The Quran and the Bible in the Light of History and Science, it has shown and strangled and was unable in the end to achieve anything. Rather, it is surprising that some scholars in the West began preparing in response to the book, so when I indulge himself in reading it more and dwelling on it more. He gave his testimonies in public, The Body of the Pharaoh and Islam, the French scientist. One of the miracles of the noble Quran is that it includes secrets and scientific theories that scientists discovered in the modern era, and the Quran spoke about the home of the foot, and this indicates the sincerity of the Holy Quran. The Almighty said, "Today, we deliver you with your own body, so that those who leave behind you will be a sign, and many people will forget our signs." Interpretation of the verse in the Holy Quran today. We deliver you with your own body, so that those who leave behind you will be a sign. The commentators said, the children of Israel, when they had great hearts in their hearts, from Pharaoh, as if they did not believe in drowning him, and they doubted that, so God commanded the sea to cast him on a high escapade in his body, so that they would have a lesson and a sign. And a lot of people are ignorant of our signs, so they pass by them and repeat. Peace be upon you, followers of the Youssef channel. For more information, please go to the link below the video.
Do not forget to subscribe and do the bell button to receive all that is new. Do not forget to support us with the following. Do not forget to subscribe and